the blues. I've got the alcoholic blues. No more beer, my heart to cheer. Goodbye, whiskey, you used to make me frisky. So long, highball, so long, gin. Oh, tell me when you're coming back again. Blues, I've got the blues since the amputated my blues. Lordy, Lordy, war is swell. You know, I don't have to tell. Oh, I've got the alcoholic blues, some blues. Prohibition, that's the name. Prohibition drives me insane. I'm so thirsty, soon I'll die. I simply grind, evaporate, I just that dry. I wouldn't mind to live forever in a train if my thirst had only let me quench, and not with Bevo or ginger ale. I want real stuff by the pail.
You're very exceptionary. No dictionary can define what's genuinely indescribable. Very exceptionary. No ordinary phrase can capture you. Now some might say that you're tremendous. You are so much more stupendous, so magnificent, so magnanimous. If we voted, it'd be unanimous. Very exceptionary. This temporary phrase we'll have to do. It's true for my very exceptionary you. Exceptionary. No dictionary can define what's genuinely indescribable. Very exceptionary. No ordinary phrase can capture you. Now some might say that you're tremendous. You are so much more stupendous, so magnificent, so magnanimous. If we voted, it'd be unanimous. Very exceptionary. This temporary phrase will have to do, it's true, for my very exceptionary. For my very exceptionary you.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of This Is News with your host, The Bartender. And in a minute here, I'll be introducing my co-host, Mr. C of the C Report. But before we go to that, let me take you guys to the clouds real quick. There we go. Such a beautiful sight. So tonight's random read comes off of the Book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verses 1 through 5, God's fierce anger. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. The Lord hath swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob, and hath not pitied. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He had brought them down to the ground. He hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. He hath cut off his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. He hath drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, and he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoureth round about. He hath bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary, and slew all that were pleasant to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughter of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire. The Lord was an enemy. He hath swallowed up Israel. He hath swallowed up all her palaces. He hath destroyed his strongholds. He hath increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation. Once again, this random read comes from the Book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verses 1 through 5. God's fierce anger. Good evening, everybody. Welcome again to another episode of This Is News, where we kind of make a mockery of the news, but at the same time, of course, report on entertaining things. Well, we don't report. We kind of give our commentary about these articles that we pull up. So without further ado, let me introduce my co-host here. Mr. C, would you please step out?
Step out of the closet?
Yeah, I'm assuming that you've already done that.
Oh, a long time ago. It was called my mother's womb. No, just kidding. How's it going, Speak? How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well tonight, and great to be back.
Well, I'm glad that you're back here, man. I noticed that you guys didn't do a In the Dark show last Saturday or Friday.
No, something came up. We had to kind of cancel that, but we did recover that on Tuesday, like last night. So
yes, yeah,
it was fun stuff last night.
I was watching and I fell asleep, dude. So I really didn't get to catch anything because I was really tired last night.
Hey, you could have spared the audience that tidbit of information. No, just kidding.
Well, I mean, it was you guys came on at midnight, and I was awake. But
yeah, we were on it.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't say anything. Go ahead.
No, but I was on my couch and I had my laptop on my lap, and I just got so comfortable, and I just the lights went out.
Awesome. Well, hey, you don't ignore the call of nature, right? Anyhow, it was a fun show. Good show. We did the transhumanism topic again, although this time we started digging into its relation to the same old cast of characters.
Yes.
The World Economic Forum, et cetera, et cetera.
Man, it's kind of interesting that you guys talk about that and have been talking about that on the In the Dark shows. Man, I think this whole thing is going to be sped up, man.
It has to be.
And the only reason why I say that is because, now they're pushing for this whole, I don't know, green stuff, I guess you can say. Because I've been getting I got an article from Subpack. He sent me something about his state and what they're trying to pass, and I kind of told him, I'm like, dude, whether knowingly or unknowingly, they're gonna force us to do it, and that's definitely gonna be the what do you call that? That's gonna be the segue into pushing the whole transhumanism.
Well, they're attempting to force us to do it, or they're going to attempt to force us to do it. Like, because like with the whole green energy and stuff, like we talked a little bit about that too, because Java had pointed out, and it was actually something that I was not aware of. I don't know that many people are. I mean, the information is out there. If you know where to look, but I don't even know that people might have known to even look, and that had to do with the origins of the environmentalist movement, because you would think it would be an organic movement created by concerned human beings, but Java had, in his research into the transhumanism and also some of its forebears, found out that some of the forebears of like transhumanism in association with like technocracy, independently, you would think, were also like, I don't remember the name of the man, but he was also the father of the environmentalist movement, and he was also in association with like, all of these old-time big technocrats, Zbigniew Brzezinski and all these other people that all the people we know about, Trilateral Commission people, Council on Foreign Relations people, they're all the same cast of characters.
Yeah, aren't they?
And so it was crazy because like I said, the environmental movement, I would say, it was hijacked, but how can it be hijacked if it was created and planned to do what it's doing now?
Oh, I think it was definitely planned out the way it's supposed to be planned, like the way it's supposed to be panning out. I definitely think that it was all planned. It
exactly.
Really was, yeah.
So we know that's the case, right? And then of course we see things like the Agenda 2030, the Agenda 2015, all that stuff, and that also all goes right in line with the Green New Deal or whatever, and all that stuff.
Yeah, the Green New Deal.
Yeah, and so, and then there's another thing, the ECG or the ESG, which is economic, environmental, sustainable governance board and stuff like that. So, but we're aware of it, and like for example, in the state of Texas, like our politicians are actually fighting against it. Hey, how successful that will be, I don't know, but
I kind of want. I saw this article. I mean, I must have brushed through it real quick, but I just kind of saw it at a glance that I guess the state of Texas is wanting to secede from the union.
Well, no, not the state. Well, the state has always, kind of threatened that, especially depending on who's in the White House, like the governor, might talk or have that kind of like rhetoric. But what we actually had is we had a county for the first time ever has a board of commissioners that voted on a resolution to secede from the state, from the nation. So to secede from the union. So for the first time in history, we have a Texas county that has actually passed a resolution that was voted on to communicate to state legislators that they want language on the ballot in 2023 for Texans to vote on that.
I honestly think that if it does go through, Texas is a very unique state where it could take care of itself.
Oh yeah,
we don't need the union, man.
Exactly, and in the resolution that was passed by the county, I'm trying to remember the name of the county. We talked about it on Lone Star News this afternoon. It said the same thing. It's like we are the 9th largest economy in the world. We can take care of ourselves.
Yes.
We pay more in taxes and federal and benefits to the federal government than we get returned. And we pay more to them than any other state in the nation.
Not to mention the resources that we have here.
Yeah,
it's a very self-sufficient state. We don't need.
So we could be our own republic, right? We're bigger than most nations around the planet. But my question is, where would that leave the current Texas state legislators and what would that look like, because if they're all establishment, they're not going to want to do it. But you see, that's why the local is so important, because county by county, or backyard by backyard, we can form a strong netted link support group, that is the community, that is the citizens, that is the voters, the people, county by county. And if it's the will of the people per county, that's like your backyard. What are you're going to have a city like in Bexar County, San Antonio is going to say, what, we're not going to go along with the secession? I don't think so.
Right.
If your county board of commissioners have already voted on it, there's going to be a lot more, I guess, inner onion type of, as we go through the layers of the onion, it goes deeper and deeper.
Yes.
So anyways, yeah. It'd be interesting to see.
So there was kind of credence to that, because I just saw it at a glance. I didn't read the article or anything.
I'm not at this point in time, I'm not myself a huge supporter of secession. It depends on what happens in the next 4 years for me, honestly. But that would probably be my breaking point, because there's not going to be a nation, or let alone a state, that we could really recognize, if things keep going down the path and they don't correct, So we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, yes, I do agree with that statement. We have to wait and see. But I don't know, man. You know my views are kind of different.
Yeah, you're like a nihilist.
No. I don't believe that way to want to be right. I believe that way. I believe that way in a way where it just prepares me for the worst. So
hey, if that's what you need to be prepared, if you need to remind yourself of the danger every day, and then you do that.
Because I prefer to be wrong. I really prefer to be wrong than to be right. And when I used to be all into the politics stuff and talk to old coworkers about what's really going on in the government, they always thought I was crazy. And when everything started showing itself when Trump became president, and I was like, see, I told you, man. So, and I really don't want, I don't want to be the one to say that I'm right. I really don't, but what can you do when you follow the game and you know how the game is played, and you kind of see the moves coming, or at least how they're going to make the moves? Then, I mean, I don't want to be the one who's right about that stuff. That's something that you don't want to be proud to be about, being right about bad things happening.
Yeah, so, I agree with that for sure.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Other than that, man, yeah, I was just kind of curious about that thing. So you do know something about it, which is cool. Yeah,
absolutely. Talked about it this afternoon.
Yeah, I think I heard you kind of talk about that. So cool. And I'm sorry that I dude, I was I tuned
Stop
in.
Apologizing.
I tuned in kind of
Dude,
late.
you're a DJ, you're busy, you got a life. I do not expect you to be popping up in every show. So
I try my best, man.
But I appreciate your support, dude.
All right.
I truly do.
Well, the articles that you picked today, man.
Oh, speaking of articles, what show are we watching again? I forgot. Speak.
What do you mean? What show?
Well, what show? How does the audience know what show they're watching?
Oh, that's okay. So once again, if you're not reading the title on the bottom of your screen, we are doing This Is News, episode number 38. So before we start getting into the articles, let's go ahead and get into the intro of the show. This actual titled show called.
Maybe next time he'll just play it. He won't have to introduce it.
No, I'll introduce it.
Yeah, the show's already started. Okay, play the intro.
Okay, let's just say it like that, man. Hey, dude.
Okay, we're already 20 minutes into the show. Can we play the intro sometime?
Yeah, let's go ahead and play the intro.
All right, I'll mute up. All right.
Cool. All right, peeps. Here's the intro for the show, and I'll see you in a bit. All right. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Mr. C.
Awesome. I wish I could have seen it too.
You didn't see it?
No.
Thank you for reminding me to play that, man.
Oh.
You know, man, my brain is bad. You know,
Your brain is bad.
I can't multitask. I forget things real fast, and I don't know what it is, man. I think I'm just getting old.
You know what happens? You know, sometimes we age.
Sometimes.
Sometimes we age. It happens. What are you gonna do about it? I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and
Awesome.
I'm gonna go ahead and share the first article with you. I think I'm the first one up today. I think last week was you were up first, so
I'm interested to see what articles you got this week.
yeah, it's not as entertaining as yours. I mean, the second one might be. This one I kind of picked because I'm like, so let me share this with you. Let me share it also with the folks out there on the internets. Let me see. We can go here.
What?
Bam. Here we go.
That's weird.
Let me just blow this up for people who can't see, like myself. Okay. So this first article that we got here, this comes from thefederalist.com. The article was published on October 19th of this year by Jordan Boyd. Article reads, Texas A&M Faculty Senate votes to exclude Asian job applicants to hire people with preferred skin colors. And you know why I picked this one.
Because you're Asian.
Exactly. You know what's okay, so I was just talking to my wife about this like a few days ago, about how we're the Asian people are what's the word? There's more discrimination against Asians than there are against other races when it comes to like schools. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we as Asian people, we don't complain. It's kind of changing now with the younger generation because that's all they do is they complain. But for most part, a lot of Asian people, they just do what they do. They don't worry about the whole bitching, moaning, and complaining. They just do what they do to make themselves successful, which is why the older generation people, they don't have that victimhood mentality like the younger generation does now. So I was just talking.
They've been infected.
Well, it's because of the education system, dude. You know, they want you to pay attention more on what your weaknesses are, as opposed to finding your strength and then building you up from there. But of course, you got to build up your weaknesses too. But I think with how they're teaching children now in schools is like you got to be the biggest victim to be the most noticeable person. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, so let's go ahead and read this article here. It says here, the Texas A&M University Faculty Senate on Monday endorsed an affirmative action program that is currently under legal scrutiny for using taxpayer dollars to hire non-white and non-Asian staff members.
Dude. How are they not going to get in trouble for this?
I don't know, man. I guess they consider Asians, I don't know, equal to whites. Not that I'm trying to pull a race card or anything, dude, but I really...
So this is affirmative action for the others against whites and Asians.
Yes, all colors except white. All colors except white and yellow people.
That's funny.
Despite a class action complaint filed against...
You see? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just had this thought speak.
What? Go ahead.
When they came for the whites, they said, ha, the whites. And they let it happen to the whites because they didn't like the whites. And now they're coming for the yellows. Who's next? You see what happens when you don't stand up for what's right? They take everybody. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, speak.
No, you're right. That's eventually what happens when they've already exceeded all like when they exceeded all the power of getting into certain classes of people, then they go to the next class of people, and then when that runs out, they go to the, and then eventually it comes back to themselves. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think all the way that far down, but I was thinking gulags. And like if you take it like they're already taking away opportunities from Caucasians, and now they're doing it to Asians. So, I guess the further down the line you go, I mean, there'd be less and less opportunities for those groups. It's already accepted among the universities and the academia. Oh, we can't have Caucasians and Asians. So but then it gets, and then that's part of culture. And then what if that becomes part of popular culture, and that becomes part of society? So that's where it starts. It starts with a section of society that gets away with it because no one did anything about it.
Yep.
No one put their foot down, and it grew and grew and grew from there, or grows and grows and grows from there. So
very true.
No telling where it could go from there.
Well, I mean,
we're seeing it in some instances.
Obviously, it ends up that they destroy themselves. They go after themselves. They're their own class of people, and then from there, when after they've done their own class of people, then the elitism starts coming in. Like, well, even though we're the same race or whatever, I'm more rich than you are, or I'm more educated than you are. You know what I'm saying? Then they start. Now it starts getting more narrowing. They narrow down the type of group after that. So I don't know. Anyhow,
Java says it's to replace them with robot workers.
What's that?
The Java says it's to replace them with robot workers.
That's true.
If you think about it,
That's true.
If you think about it,
it's very true.
That's what. Eventually, it's going to be non-humans. We only hire non-humans.
That's very true. And
that's where it's going. You know what I mean?
I'll even go further with that because, man, we went from this to the transhumanism stuff.
Yeah.
No, but I was listening to another content creator out on YouTube, right? And he was even talking about how
I keep on promoting YouTube.
I'm not promoting YouTube. I'm promoting
why do you say I was listening to the content creators?
Well,
I'm just being stupid, dude. Sorry.
So he was explaining how 2020 with the whole thing with defund the police was kind of like a test run to see if people would support it. So then actual human police will be replaced with robots.
So that's the point of that.
And I was like, dude, that makes a lot of sense because now you can enforce laws without the whole empathy of people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
You don't have to, you won't have a cop saying, well, it's my orders, because the robot will just do.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just an interesting thought there. Anyhow, let me go ahead and read this. Despite a class action complaint filed against TAMU on September 10, alleging that the university's Accountability, Climate, Equity, and Scholarship, ACES, Plus program violates federal law prohibiting universities that accept federal funds from discriminating on account of race. That's the first word, dude. Race or sex. Faculty senators at TAMU voted 54-12 in support of the project. According to a memo from Annie McGowan, Vice President and Associate Provost for Diversity. I really hate that word. And
you hate what word?
Diversity.
Oh,
it's a liberal-owned word.
Yeah, well, they pretty much commandeered it for the better part of the last half decade.
They sure did, man. They sure did. Like they commandeered the Seattle, right?
Yep.
And N.K. Anand, Vice President for Faculty Affairs, sent by the university's leadership in July. The program will receive $2 million over the 2023 and 2024 fiscal years to match the salary and benefits of new mid-career and senior tenure track hires from unprecedented minority groups. The memo defines underrepresented minorities as, quote, African Americans, Hispanic/Latino Americans, Native Americans, Alaskan Natives, and Native Hawaiians, but does not include Asians on the list. Wow.
Oh.
So much for
They're the next to go, huh?
like apparently. I wonder who's after us.
Hmm.
This program, the TAMU official says, is designed to contribute to moving the structural composition to our faculty towards parity with that of the state of Texas, sidelining qualified white and Asian candidates in favor of fulfilling racial quotas. Both the complaint and some Senate faculty members say is a massive legal liability for the school and constitutes discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
This is so This is retarded.
It's straight up discrimination.
This is retarded, dude.
This is Texas university, right?
Yeah, it's A&M.
Oh, A&M. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
And it's not even Austin. That's crazy.
Let's see. If you are serious about supporting the ACES Plus program goal of moving the structural composition of our faculty to, didn't I read that already? Parity with the state of Texas, then we are effectively supporting the replacement of 2/3 to 3/4 of our Asian faculty solely because of their race.
Wow.
Man.
Okay,
I feel offended, man. I
had to look it up just because I didn't really know what parity was. The quality or state of being equal or equivalent, equality as an amount, status, or value. So they're saying that demographically speaking, in relationship to the population of the race, there are too many Caucasians and Asians on their Senate, whatever thing is. So they need more Hispanics and other people, or what are they saying? I don't understand what they're saying. It's crazy.
You know, this is all wrong. We should be helping people. We should be giving merit to those who have the quality of their capabilities.
Yeah, because the people are going to get sub-quality work, you know. And I mean, I hate to say it. Well, I don't mean to say it that way, but I mean, if you think about it, if we're being forced to take the second or third or fourth or fifth best contender based on race, you know, we're getting sub-quality. You know, the position that they are employing is getting sub-quality, and it's only sub-quality because there was a more qualified candidate. And then what if Mexicans or Hispanics don't want to work in that position? What if it's because for some reason it's a hotspot for whatever other, you know, ethnicity would prefer to work in that position? You know, like what if we prefer to just, you know, whack the weeds outside? I'm just kidding.
Well, you know, I think
what if we don't want to wear a suit and tie?
I honestly think that this whole thing with the dividing of races I don't think it's. I think it's more to destroy a society as a whole.
It's to divide.
Yes,
you know.
It definitely is. That's the bigger grand scheme of things. But people they don't look further down into why the divisiveness is happening. They think that, oh, my race is more superior than yours. And that's not the case. The case is, dude, you got a bunch of elite people who are trying to freaking divide the whole country. So they're dividing us.
That's their plan right there.
Yes.
That is their plan. They got rid of the Caucasians. That's the Americans and the blood-redded, God-fearing Americans. And then they're going to get rid of the Asians because they're going to go after China after they take out America, right? Like,
oh, man. But you know what? The reason why they go after Asians is because they're very passive people. They don't speak up against things like this. They really don't. They just pay attention to they do what makes themselves successful and just keep on striving on doing that. Asian people are not usually known as people who would like speak out loudly against certain things. Mm-hmm. But typically speaking, I'm not saying that
they have the grace to accept the things they cannot change.
I guess you can put it that way, but typically, I'm only saying this because I'm Asian myself, but typically speaking, like that's not a characteristic of an Asian person who just goes out there and speak against, the powers that be or whatever. They're just not like that. But that's probably why they went after them, because knowing that they won't speak out against them, they'll be like, okay, whatever, they'll just be passive about it. Anyhow, let me just continue here. Where was I? Faculty Senator Adam Kolasinski, a professor of finance at TAMU, explained before the Senate's ACES vote. If you support this resolution, I ask you which 3/4 of your Asian colleagues do you want to get rid of? Oh, man. So bad. It just sounds so bad, dude.
Put it back on them.
According to Kolensinski, supporting this program effectively eliminates potential Asian faculty from hiring eligibility for like the next decade. By the way, that's what the ACES Plus program does. It creates new faculty positions to which no Asians need Dude, are you serious, man? So I guess So now we got to be in the back of the bus too? Kolansinski said, man, we're going to be in the back of the bus with the whites now. In 2022. That's where we're at right now. Kolasinski also expressed concerns about the university doubling down on a policy that is a clear legal liability to the school and has yet to be decided in court. The professor's words of warning, however, were met with backlash from other TAMU faculty senators who called them extraordinarily offensive. That's beyond extraordinary. That's pretty effed up, if you ask me.
Yo.
I am almost speechless, Faculty Senator Angie Hill Price, the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs and an Associate Professor of Engineering Technology and Industrial Distribution, replied. I think that was extraordinarily offensive, but you're entitled to your You're entitled to your opinion and to your freedom of speech, and I appreciate the fact that you have that. For now.
Yeah.
For now, right? Is that
for sure?
I mean, that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. We don't know if it's gonna be if we're. I mean, we do have freedom of speech, but you kind of have to watch out about what you say, dude.
No, hell no.
Did you see the latest thing with Kanye West, man?
Nope,
He's being so grilled for
what happened with Kanye?
Well, I don't want to
What
get into
distraction is he getting this? See, he was here to distract. Good job. You didn't get distracted.
Well, let me continue on because that's a totally different topic there.
He could have had an article for himself.
I was contemplating it, but no, I picked something more interesting. In addition to shortening potential Asian hires, the lawsuit says the university is violating Title VI and Title IX of the Federal Civil Rights Act and the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause by creating and isolating some faculty positions specifically for those racial groups deemed underrepresented by TAMU. That the complaint states, complaint, right? That's complaint. It's complaint.
Yes. I just cannot believe that someone even thought they could propose this. You know what I mean? I know they're doing it in the name of equality, and that's their justification. It's the wokeness that's justifying exactly how ludicrous this is.
Was it a white liberal who you thought brought that up?
I have no idea. I was just wondering that. I'm going to have to share this on Lone Star News because this is absolutely ridiculous. It's bonkers.
This is crazy, man.
This is insane. I cannot believe that they even thought this was okay.
Hey, you're lucky, dude. You're Hispanic, bro.
Oh, I can go work there? Is that what you're saying? I need a job. No, just kidding.
You're not on the you're on the list of underrepresented. I'm not. So that
underrepresented. Have you seen how many Mexicans there are in this state?
that the complaint states is evidenced by an email exchange between a professor whose name is redacted and the Thomas W. Leland Memorial Chair in Finance Shane A. Johnson. In the exchange, Johnson confirmed his department reserved a faculty spot for an underrepresented minority, in quotes, okay? The underrepresented line would potentially be a third position, so yes, reserved, but not one of our regular positions, Johnson wrote. The TAMU diversity and faculty offices did not immediately respond to the Federalists' request for comment, and though the Federalist received an initial reply from a communications spokeswoman, she did not offer a comment by deadline. While TAMU case plays out, the Supreme Court is mulling over another affirmative action case that could decide how all publicly funded universities approach race-based admissions. In Students for Fair Admission versus Harvard, the High Court will determine if Harvard, which receives federal funding, can continue turning down admission for large numbers of Asian students in the name of, quote, diversity and reserving spots for people of other skin colors. Okay, man.
Cray.
The whole idea about affirmative action is just a horrible idea, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think people who are willing to make the best of themselves should get the biggest help, so then we can help them succeed, so they can be the new leaders and people who change the world into a better place. But yet we're resorting to race when that's not necessarily that's not a characteristic. It's more of a physical,
it's not even a freaking, it's an ethnicity. It's not even, we're a race, guys. It's a pigmentation. They use race as a pigmentation identifier marker. I knew you were going to say that, Disco Ball Chaser. I'm not Mexican. I am Hispanic.
Latino.
I am not Latino. There is a difference from that also.
Oh, is there? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you racist. Anyways.
Why
boy, you see one Latin person and you think they're all Latin.
Wait. So does that mean now that since Asians are aligned with the whites now, does that mean that anything that we say now could be racist?
Anything what now?
Anything that Asian people say that offends people that don't agree with, like, let's say if we don't agree with a liberal and we say something, could that equate to being racist too, being that we're Asian now, that we're equal to the whites now?
Yeah, everything you say is racist.
Oh man,
you're racist. I'm gonna have to report YouTube on you since you like YouTube so much.
Well, it doesn't matter, man.
Because you're a racist. No, just kidding.
Okay, I'm a small channel.
I would never do such a thing. Speak. I believe in free speech.
I just make
Be as racist as you want, sir, but I can no longer be your friend.
It's okay. I got a small channel. I can always make another one. I don't have that much followers anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I do have some listeners out in the YouTube land out there, and thank you for hanging out. I also want to give
YouTube people.
I also want to give a shout out to the person out in Twitch, Journey Through It. Thank you so much for joining us here. Let me also give acknowledgement to people here on home base. Subpack Vet, thank you so much for always being here and supporting me, and also modding for the channel, man. Thank you so much. Who else is here? At home base? I got Delphina. Thank you for being here. Java, my brother, thank you for being here. Disco Ball Chaser, shouts out to you. And also Slick Shoe, thank you guys for hanging out here at the show tonight. We're gonna have a fun time because we're about to get to the next article here, and I think you guys might enjoy it. I was saying to myself, dang, I got to do a little bit more research to.
I don't know how we're supposed to like jump to like. Yeah.
No, yeah, well,
the wokeness is what it is, right?
Of this article, of the
Well,
the wokeness of it, yeah.
That's the
That will
that's
be the
catch-all.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
connecting factor right there.
That's the connecting factor between the. I was like, how are we going to connect these two articles? It's the wokeness.
It's the wokeness, yeah.
Mhm.
We definitely got the liberals to thank for the wokeness, because of course they're the ones who introduced it all to us, right?
Indeed, friend, indeed.
Hold on for a moment. Let me just share this with you. We're gonna do this one. This is. I was saying to myself, really?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Oh, I didn't know what I know what you were gonna do. Okay, so not about the wokeness. I have no idea how the two fucking. Excuse me.
All right. So here's the
My
article.
bad. Okay. So I have no idea how these two articles connect. I thought you were gonna pull the other one, not this one. I thought you were gonna say this one for last. Oh my god.
No. I mean, it was a
Okay.
both of yours were good.
Yeah.
Both good.
Sorry. This is too soon for me. I can only see her breasts. Why are you like, I don't want to look at that. Like, oh, wait, sorry, I have other things in front of her. Hold on. Okay, all right. We're talking about Britney Spears, apparently. The legislative act of her poussoir. Britney Spears posts bizarre nudes again.
Dude, do you think she's still like under mind control stuff, man?
I don't know. I mean, she should be like the 5th clone or something like that for all we know. I have no idea. I do not go down the Britney Spears rabbit hole, or any other hole, Britney Spears for that matter.
What a way to put it, man.
Oh my goodness. Don't do it, girl. Don't do it. Okay. Britney, no! No, just kidding. Pop star Britney Spears, and this is in Breitbart. Pop star Britney Spears posted yet another bizarre nude of herself on social media this week while employing pornographic language. Oh, that's the reason why they didn't let me release my Fauci shirt, because probably they viewed the word prick as pornographic language.
Oh, you're talking about your merch?
Yeah, my merchandise store. They did not let me do the Fauci shirt.
Oh.
Oh yeah, definitely MK Ultra. I mean, she was a Mouseketeer after all.
She was. Yes.
Yep. So what is this though? Because a legislative act of her poussoir. Why don't we dissect that for a minute? Speak. What do you think she means by that?
My thought was, I think it's a show. I think it's like a movie or something, some kind of show, or that's the title of the show.
Well, no. What do you think she was referencing? Like, do you really think she has a show called the legislative act of my poussoir?
Well, if you read it, it says right there.
I see that. Okay. Anyways, we'll dissect it after I read it. Shared on her Twitter page, the photo featured Britney Spears sprawled out naked on the bed, while her hand covered her nipple and her thigh covered her nether region. I have a premiere for a movie this week, the legislative act of my pussy, she captioned. And there she is. Okay, so why?
Who knows? I don't know.
Anyways, no, I mean, we're not here to really dissect why. We're just sharing it because it's silly. Spears' latest post represents a pattern going all the way back to when she celebrated the ending of her father's conservatorship by posting nude photos of herself, a trend she has gleefully continued for nearly a year. Do you wonder, or do you think that maybe do you think that Joe Biden has like a conservatorship on Hunter Biden? Wouldn't that be crazy? Panicked
anything is possible, man. You know, that's an interesting angle that you put there.
Think so?
Yeah, that's interesting.
She was under conservatorship, you know. You saw how crazy she went with drugs and shit. So,
Well, what if it's the reverse? What if Hunter had conservatorship of his dad?
no, well, no.
Hey, dude, I'm just saying.
Well, I guess, you know, stranger things have happened. Somehow he managed to like rope him into like conservatorship. Oh, you know what? I've seen that. You know, that could be true. You know,
right?
that could be true. There, those things happen where they get elderly people on like senile cases, and then they make them wards, like wardship. That's what they get.
Oh, I've
not
seen
conservatorship. They get wardship over them or conservatorship.
I've seen that in my former job where you know we couldn't. So there's a person who had to be released, but we had to release that person to the father because he was the only one that had conservatorship of him. So he couldn't be we couldn't do just a regular release, and he's out in the streets. We had like his father had to come down and come get him. It's weird, dude.
Cray.
Yeah.
So it says panicked Britney Spears fans took to social media to beg the pop star to stop after she posted 12 nude photos for her 40.9 million Instagram followers. While some fans commended her posts, others pleaded with the star to stop posting such images and implored her to think of her children. I don't know. You see, Madonna don't got nothing on Britney Spears. Like Madonna has a big old inflated alien ass, right? She's wears a diaper.
She looks all weird.
Yeah, and Britney Spears just gets up there and gets naked, and Madonna's all like freaking throwing her freaking butt in front of, you know, fouling. Oh, so gross. Anyways, I don't know why people keep cheering her on. She's clearly not functioning well. One Instagram user wrote, you know, why don't you mind your own business? Anyways, stop it, Britt. Think about your kids. Another commented, baby doll, you need some real friends. Friends don't let you post stuff like this. I mean, with love. I think about your babies. Another word. Think about yourself, baby doll.
I think these are people who were really influenced with her when they were young, and they just don't want to see their, you know.
You think those comments are from that?
Well, I think some of these people who have made comments on her thing, who are telling her not to.
I think they're her gang stalkers and her handlers, and they're trying to make her look bad. Anyways, it's her business. You know what?
Yeah,
it's her business.
It's true. It is her.
It's her business. You know. I mean, period, point blank, period. No one needs to be concerned. She's not holding her children off like, a 2-story balcony like she used to, okay?
Like MJ?
Yeah, him too.
Man, these celebs, dude. These celebs.
She's not driving with her, she's not breastfeeding her kid with no belt on and speeding with a drink and a cigarette in her hand while driving, anymore. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just saying. It's none of their damn business. In August of this year, Britney Spears publicly smeared the Catholic Church for not hastily marrying her and now husband Sama Asghari upon request. According to Spears, the church asked that she become Catholic while presumably undergoing marriage preparation. I wanted to go every Sunday. It's beautiful. And they said it was temporarily shut down due to COVID. Then 2 years later, when I want to get married, they say that I had to be Catholic and go through tests or test, whatever. Isn't church supposed to be open to all? She questioned. Anyways, in order to be married in the Catholic Church, at least one person in the couple has to have been baptized Catholic or to have converted to Catholicism. Though Spears expressed interest in Catholicism after having been raised Baptist, she never formally joined the church, while Asghari has expressed no public religious affiliation, with reports indicating his parents were Muslim.
Britney, man. Now they're trying to get her to be Catholic.
I mean, if she wanted to get baptized in like a monastery or something like that, there's like isn't there like an all religions one in New York City or something like that? I don't know. I don't understand, sir. I don't understand anything.
Yeah, I did the whole Catholic bit thing. That was by force,
Yeah.
though. That wasn't by choice. That was by force.
Yeah, that was a quick pull, that Britney Spears story. But anyways,
So
that's news.
yeah, I know this is news.
Mhm.
But it's interesting that she's still out in the limelight, man. She's still making headlines,
Mhm.
and you know, I mean, she can still attract a crowd.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was very popular. It took me 20 years to even listen to some of her music, but I was never a fan,
Yeah, I
Um,
wasn't. I'm not a fan either, but I mean, I still play her music from time to time, being a DJ.
I mean, hey, if I'm at a club, or if I'm at one of your events, and you play it, but I mean, if I'm drunk enough, maybe I'll go dance to it.
You know, that's been a signature of mine these past few gigs, is that I'll be playing like modern stuff, like modern
Mhm.
pop stuff, 2000 stuff, maybe into the 2000, between 2010 2020, and then I would play New Kids on the Block, and then follow that up with Debbie Gibson. I make that my signature now.
Mhm.
Just to have a little bit of fun. Like I want to see people's reaction. Like, man, I haven't heard that song in a long time. Or with the younger
Yeah, who's Debbie
generation,
Gibson?
they give me
Who's Debbie Gibson?
they start to give me this look of
Anyways.
what are you playing, or what did you just do?
Uh-huh.
So I like
So-
getting reaction that way.
What's been your reaction?
The
I'll
old,
have to look her up because I really don't know who that is. But anyways.
the older crowd, they
Uh-huh.
look at me and like, my goodness, I haven't heard this in a long time. Like you can
Okay.
see the happiness, but the younger crowd, they're like, who is this? What are you playing?
That's
But
funny.
at the same time, like I can play Rick Astley's. I think it's called "Never Gonna Give You Up." I guess it's been a big meme on TikTok, and a lot of the
Very cool.
youngsters know that song.
So they'll dance to it.
Yeah, because they know the song from TikTok, because it's like a meme or something like that. So, it's just
Awesome.
interesting. This is very interesting. I'm trying to implement old music back into society because the new stuff is just horrible. I am not a fan of the new stuff, but because that's what I do as a full-time job, and I'm hired to play music for an event, and when they give me a playlist of certain things, I have to play by what I have. But I always try to sneak in some old stuff at the same time, and people seem to appreciate that. I don't know about the young people, though. Anyhow.
Well, awesome. It depends on if they're cultured. Mhm.
All right, so that article is going to be we're going to be talking about the sex topic here on this one too, but this is a different topic. I think this is a
Okay.
very concerning topic, especially for parents, I would say.
Mhm.
Hold on for a moment. Let me just share this with you first. You see it?
Mhm.
Okay, let me share this with the YouTube,
Mhm.
the YouTubes. Let me share this with the people in the internets.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Just talking about this on the C Report the other night. Not this story in particular, but like a topic.
Okay, so this one comes from the gatewaypundit.com. It was published on October 14th by Margaret Flavin. Article reads, Virginia Democrat plans bill to charge parents who do not affirm their child's gender identity. Dude, this is crazy.
See, I told you.
Dude, like now the state is going to be raising your child, is pretty much what that is.
The Department of Health and Human Services in the brochure stated that they could take your child.
This is
Mhm.
this for protecting your child?
So this is a for not giving them gender affirming care.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Protecting your child.
Oh, indeed, sir. Yes, exactly. So for protecting your child mutilating themselves and possibly regretting it forever.
Man, I've seen a lot of these. I've seen some videos of, a lot of them who did the transition, but are they regret it so bad. And they start saying, I wish my parents would have, told me to think twice about this. And man, this is horrible.
It's terrible, dude, because you never know what you're going to grow into.
Right. No,
you could be the prettiest little boy, but you end up being the ugliest man. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, think about it.
The hairiest man? No, just kidding.
If you're doing a transition when you're still a child, your mind is not fully developed, and you don't even know who you are. Not what you're attracted to, but who you are, right?
Yep.
So this is crazy, man. Now the parents are gonna be, man.
So I'm curious to know if she's a Virginia State House member, or if she's a U.S. rep for Virginia.
Well, let's read here. Let's read here. Radical progressive Virginia Democrat delegate Elizabeth Guzman announced plans to introduce a bill in the Virginia legislature where parents could face a felony. What?
Dude, she is the AOC of the South. Look at her. She's the AOC of the South, Elizabeth Guzman. That's who she is.
Yo, felony?
Crazy bitch.
Yo, felony. Seriously, man. When I used to live in California, remember what I told you about the misgender thing being a misdemeanor? Bro, this is freaking felony if you tell your children not to get
gender affirming.
Yes. This is nuts, dude. Okay.
That's insane.
So it says here, or misdemeanor.
How on earth can the governor stand for this?
I guess it's just a proposal, right? It just says here it's announced. She announced plans to introduce a bill. So it's not. I don't think this is gonna fly.
The AOC of the South. Look at her.
I want to say that I don't think this is gonna fly, but the state of the world we're in right now, where good is bad and bad is good, because Satan has done all his work. I don't know. I really hope that this doesn't fly through. We'll see. We will see, man. Let's see. Felony or misdemeanor charge if they do not affirm their child's sexual orientation and or gender identity. This is crazy because they're not even fully mentally developed yet. This is I don't know, man. This is cuckoo land stuff, man. According to her website, Elizabeth was inspired by Bernie. I like his initials, man. Bravo, yes. Sierra, man. Call for everyday people to run for office, a decision that was cemented when Hillary lost, and Elizabeth's 9-year-old son said the family had to return to Peru because Donald Trump doesn't like people who speak Spanish. What kind of BS is that, dude?
She probably told him that.
This is crazy, dude. These people are nuts, man. The bill is in response to recent guidelines released by the state's Department of Education, saying that sports teams should be based on biological sex and is focused heavily on parental rights. The policies under Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin are sharp contrast to the 2021 guidance issued by former Democratic Governor Ralph Northam's administration. Is he a Republican? I'm not sure.
Who?
The governor there in Virginia.
Youngkin?
No,
yes.
Northam.
Yeah, he was Democrat.
Oh, hello. It says it right there. I just read it. Jeez. I'm tripping, dude. The new guidance asserts.
Oh, you're not drinking tonight. You're smoking.
No, man. I'm straight, man. I'm straight today.
Good job, sir. Good job.
The new guidance asserts that parents are in the best position to work with their children, and where appropriate, their children's health care providers to determine what names, nicknames, and or pronouns, if any, shall be used for their child by teachers and school staff while their child is at school. B, whether their child engages in any counseling or social transition at school that encourages a gender that differs from their child's sex. Or C, whether their child expresses a gender that differs with their child's sex while at school. Is that part of the article? No, that's not part of the article.
No, it's trending.
At a Parents Matter rally in September, Youngkin said the same progressives in Fairfax County actually believe they should lock parents out of their children's lives. They think parents have no right to know what your child is discussing with their teacher or counselor. Wait. So here's what I don't get. So they don't want the parents to be parents, but yet they want to put that responsibility on complete strangers like their teachers or their counselors. Very weird.
Yes, they can abuse them.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of alluding to. Like, that is very strange.
It is knucking futz, just as Fikshu said.
Guzman claims the bill she plans to introduce. How did she get voted in, man?
Machines.
Yeah, that is true. That's your specialty, man. Guzman claims the bill she plans to introduce would help protect the alphabet community children from their parents and guardians who are not affirming of their child's sexual orientation and gender identity. Well, maybe it's because children don't have a gender identity until their brains are fully developed, because they need to know who they are first before they know what they like. I don't know. I don't know if I make sense there. Further, the bill would explain the state's definition of child abuse and neglect to include parents who do not affirm their child's gender identity or sexual orientation.
Mm-hmm.
And eat avocados.
You see, it started with making kids pill poppers, and now it's gone all the way to cutting off genitals.
You're right. From taking hormones to this now.
No, I mean like psycho depression drugs, like getting kids hooked on Ritalin, and that's where that they opened the doorway into kids' rights and them abusing the children with their pharmaceutical drugs and stuff. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are making all the money off of this stuff, whether it's cutting off their genitals or giving them castration medication or giving them a Ritalin or giving them Adderall or whatever. Like they are making money off of the spoils of these kids. And
I don't think it's the money, though. I think the money is secondary. I really think that they're trying.
Well, but at the end of the day, though, they're still making the money. I'm not saying that they're doing it just because of that. I'm saying, they might put up a fight when people try and stop them because they want the money to keep flowing. I mean, think about, how the Texas Executive Office is basically, bought out by certain pharmaceutical interests in certain legislative, demands that they're not meeting,
yes, by
the people. So they're putting up a fight. They're, paying out money to keep their drugs and stuff,
well, you know my position on this thing, because I look at things very differently. So when I look at something like this, man, this is definitely fueled by the devil, dude. Like, seriously, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what you're basically doing is you're desecrating God's creation, which is us. You're basically that's what you're doing, and you're making a mockery of it, and trying to reverse the roles. and
Right, and it's in but it's in our school. So what are we going to do to stop it? That's what we got to do. That's why we have to have a course of action in that manner.
Yes, I agree with you, but there's a lot of teachers that are freaking like teaching this kind of stuff to children, man.
You change your school board, you change your school boards, you change the
I
people
did a
who
long
make those.
I did a long time ago.
No, but I mean, no. I mean, like,
you know what I mean. I made a decision to homeschool my child.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, and that's great, but like what I'm talking about is like actually these teachers can be taken care of if they are not following policy. You have administrators. You have to be able to like course correct at some point.
Right.
We cannot take this as acceptable. Okay, this is not the new normal. All right, you get a good school board in there, you set policies good, you get a good superintendent, you get good principals, you get whatever. I don't know what the chain of command is in the education force, but it can be done. And it starts with the people. That's why we had so many like conservatives who were running for office as school board members and superintendents and whatever the other elected offices are within the school district, because that's the kind of support you need to course correct, whereas we were not involved at all, or maybe had just become apathetic.
Well, I mean, the other option is you can always pull your child out and just,
yes, absolutely,
opt into to homeschool your child. And I honestly think if parents were willing to make that sacrifice, if they really love their kids and want to give their kids the best and have the best relationship with their child, in my opinion, I think the best way to do that is to homeschool your child, because you'll be able to have a relationship with your child as well,
Yeah. Yes. I got to know my parents very well while I homeschooled.
Initially when you're a teenager and you're a child, you really don't want to be around your parents.
Uh-huh.
But at least when you grow up, all those seeds that were planted in your head or in your belief system was given to you from your parents, and look, I'm probably guilty of it too sometimes where I just don't have the time to talk to my daughter or whatever, or I've been guilty of it too with my son, because he went to school the conventional way. He did the whole public school thing from kindergarten all the way to high school. And I totally see a difference as far as if I make a comparison with my daughter and my son. I definitely feel like I'm a lot more closer with my daughter, especially now that I'm home.
That is also the dad daughter connection.
Yes, but I think a lot of it too is initiated because I'm always talking to my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
And I get on her case too when she plays video games. I'm like, look, dude, why don't you stop the video game and come here and hang out with me? And but what I'm trying to say is that yes, you're right that we have the power to change that at school. But if you really want to freaking like, if you really don't want these problems to continue, instead of relying on the state to educate your child, man.
Well, we're talking about bigger society, though. I mean, everyone could go and take their kid out of school and homeschool, but is that logical for everyone, though? And I'm addressing the bigger issue, not just like, a small sector of it when I talk about it. And so
no, I get it. But the thing is, like, there's more to there. Okay, you get more out of homeschooling your child as opposed to putting them in school, because now you're establishing not only, okay, because when when a child's at school,
I'm not arguing against homeschooling. I was homeschooled. Like, I see as totally beneficial. I totally preferred it, and it was good for me. I enjoyed it, as a child. As the person who was homeschooled, I could tell you I did enjoy it. I mean, I don't regret it. but I mean, what I'm trying to say is we have a big problem here, and you know, we could very well just all stop going to school, and then these teachers would have no job, and that's how we get rid of them. They're going to go somewhere else, I guess.
Not necessarily. They can still teach the online course stuff, you know.
Right. But I'm being kind of facetious, also speak. Like, I mean, not everyone's going to stop going to school. Like, no matter what, you have all these parents are not going to do that. Even we can argue for, but that's not the argument I think that we should be talking about. The article is about. We shouldn't be arguing about why we should be homeschooling. We should be arguing about how we're going to change this.
Yes, I agree.
It's much bigger than that, you know, and like, I mean, I totally agree with homeschooling. You know, if people can do it, you know, and they're blessed to do it, they should do it, you know, for their kids' sake, you know, they should do it. And because of the world that we live in, you know, but unfortunately we have all of these kids who will not have parents that will do that. So we have an entire community of children who are being abused right now, you know, and it's all types of abuse. And, you know, even one that we don't even know is a factor yet is like the scarring that they're going to have when they're adults from all of these experiences. And then, you know, the lack of education that they're receiving, like what kind of benefit, you know, this, not to sound so, but what will they be able to do for society in the future because of what they've done to them, you know, like how are they going to rebound for them?
We're seeing it already, man. And you know, because a neighbor of mine, his child goes to, both his children go to public school. And man, they tell me the horror stories, man, especially him being white, dude. It's bad. It's bad, man. It's bad.
And they get so violent these days too. Meaningless violence. I've seen so many stories that I just, you know, try not to even pay attention to, you know, but like, you know, that's why in the state of Texas, the education issues become huge. And that's why that's one of our priorities for the next legislative session, you know, in the Republican Party or whatever. But like that bill that they want to pass that attaches the money to the child means that your daughter would get money, federal funding, as a homeschooler, and because that's your choice of what you did with your child's education, you know. And you know, that is good. And that'd be like, yeah, if you can homeschool and you're going to get money from the government to help you with it too, you know, like, now I don't know what strings might be attached, you know, I don't know what the fine print might be.
Yeah,
that's all the stuff that's supposed to be coming forward though. And that's supposed to make competition within the public school system if you want to keep it, right? Because you could have a competitive education that's not publicly funded if you wanted to do that. But this would allow the funds that we give to the public education system to go to the child. So the schools would have to be competitive, which means they'd have to get rid of all these bullshitters who are abusing our children and basically destroying our culture and the future of our nation.
Yes.
They're destroying the future of our nation. They're literally destroying the future of our nation.
Well, they're teaching them how to be social justice warriors as well.
They're ruining this.
Yeah, and that's the stories that I hear about these. And dude, we're in Texas, bro. It's not. At least I thought it wasn't supposed. But then again, I'm in the Austin area, so I'm thinking, oh, okay, a lot of transplants from all these liberal cities that failed, and now they're bringing that ish over here. I came from a liberal state too, but I'm not. Nah, man, I'm not liberal at all. I'm not a liberal, man.
And that's why you came to Texas.
And then I came here. I'm like, dang, they're bringing their baggage over here too, man.
Yo,
thinking that it's since it wasn't right there, it's gonna be right over here. I mean, come on. Anyhow, let me go. But no, I totally agree with you that the issue here is to fix the problem of the schools. I totally agree with you, and yeah, I wasn't trying to argue with you about how I think that homeschooling should be the end all be all.
No, I know you're passionate about it.
I'm very because you know, as a parent, at least for me, growing up in a broken home, having a relationship with your own child is a very important thing to me, man. And I never would want my children to go through what I went through when I was a child. I'm very passionate. I don't want to make that mistake that my father made, which is why I'm very passionate about that And I
Well,
think
your family's blessed for it. So.
and I think that it'll come back to you more, even if you make the sacrifice of staying home or taking a pay cut or whatever the case is, in order it'll be worth more than you think, is what I'm trying to get at. And you got to think about it too, like they're going to be better people in society because you were there to guide them all the way through in their childhood. So it becomes a bigger reward than a small sacrifice that you do. I think the sacrifice is a lot less than the reward at the end of it. But then again, we're going off topic here. But
that's awesome.
But that's where I'm at with that. Anyhow, let me go ahead and read this tweet here by Elizabeth Guzman, where you can find her at that for Virginia. I wouldn't have, whoever voted for her, man. I am so proud of our kids throughout Virginia who are standing up to the to the bullying of this administration. This is what John Lewis meant by good trouble. Hashtag trans rights are human rights. Well, how about we just protect our children, dude? It doesn't matter. Oh, man, jeez, dude. Where do these people come from, dude?
The AOC of the South. I'm telling you.
Where do these people come from, dude?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Elizabeth Guzman. I'm telling you. We found her. You heard it first on This Is News at the Speak and Easy's channel.
All right, so
that's where you heard it first here.
WJLA 7 News reports the day that Governor Youngkin wanted to implement this policy, immediately texted, what is that? Okay, there you go. I immediately texted the policy led off that committee and said, this is how we're going to push back, Guzman told 7 News. If the child shares with those mandated reporters what they are going through, we are talking about not only physical abuse or mental abuse. I'm sorry, dude. I can't read that with a straight face. So you're telling me that as a parent, you're protecting your child, that's abuse? I want to throw this computer out in the window, dude. I really do, dude. I don't.
She's a crazy one.
I don't understand the thinking there. What the job of that mandated reporter is to inform Child Protective Services? Really? Guzman told 7 News, dude. If this should be telling the voters what kind of wackadoo they voted.
Mm-hmm. She's a Democrat.
And then that's how everybody gets involved. There's also an investigation in place that is not only from a social worker, but there's also a police investigation before we make the decision that there is going to be a CPS charge. What could the penalties be if the investigation concludes that a parent is not affirming of their alphabet child? What could the consequences be? 7 News WJLA TV reporter Nick Minnock asked Guzman on Thursday. Well, we first have to complete an investigation, Guzman said. It could be a felony. It could be a misdemeanor. Could we know that CPS charge could harm your employment, could harm their education? Because nowadays, many people do a CPS database search before offering employment. Dude.
Nice.
Cringe, dude.
Oh my goodness.
What would you tell your Republican colleagues who say this is criminalizing parents? What would you tell them? Minnock asked Guzman. No, it's not. It's educating parents because the law tells you that the do's and don'ts, Guzman answered. So this law is telling you do not abuse your children because they are alphabet. You can tell that this chick never got spanked in her life, man.
Yeah, she's millennial. She's millennial, right?
It's long due, man. It's long due. Gosh.
So you want to spank her? Interesting. You want to spank her?
Man, there's I'd rather not say, because you know how the algos go with certain platforms out there, and it's maybe I shouldn't even be thinking about what I shouldn't even be thinking about that, because it's not Christ-like to do that.
There you go, buddy.
But I will
turn that cheek. No, just kidding.
I will pray for this. I will pray for this lost soul, man. I mean, this is the abuse is on their side, and I don't understand why they don't see that.
Yeah, no kidding.
The abuse is absolutely on your side. It's not on the parents' side. The parents are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, protecting their children. This is nuts, dude. But then, dude, I mean, they're normalizing this stuff, man. They're normalizing it, and it's scary, It's scary.
Don't be afraid, sir.
Oh, I'm not afraid, man. It's just my children have to deal with it, especially my son. Now he's 23 and he has to deal with this. Can you imagine what my daughter has to deal with when she becomes an adult if things don't get better?
Yo no sé.
Man, she gonna be like, Dad, why'd you even have me?
I'm gonna have one good cheek.
She's like, why did I have to be born? Why was I born this year, Dad? Why couldn't you do it earlier?
Oh my goodness! Look, she's good. He's all, oh man, gotta have one good cheek.
Jeez, man. All right.
Oh my god.
So I guess that segues into the next one, and this.
Yeah, I sure do.
This one right here, man. I was like, really? This guy is running for office, man? And oh gosh. All right, let me share it with you first.
There we go. So.
Hold on for a moment. Let me share it with everybody out there on the internets.
Now, incidentally, this is not the first time a New York election race has been scandalized with such types of provocations. But this was ridiculous. Okay.
Hold on, before you continue to the article, I want to give a shout out to the people that are here, because I have some people out in the YouTube land. I do have some people out in the people are coming now. This is cool. I do have some people out on the Twitch land. Journey Through It from Twitch is asking, didn't something like this pass in Australia? I guess he was referring to the last article that we just did. It wouldn't surprise me, man. I don't know for sure. Do you know of anything in Australia where?
I don't. I have honestly not looked at news down under in a minute. But like you said, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise
me, man.
Things have been crazier down under, it seems, as far as
the people, it seems to me that there's a big pushback, but I think it's I really don't want to say it's too late, but the powers that be have a lot of power there now. I mean, they did give their guns up, right? See,
that's what's up with that.
So
this article from the New York Post. And good evening, everyone else out there from
yes, also on Foxhole and Pill.net land. Thank you, everybody. Slick Shoe, Java. Yeah, thank you. Subpack. Can't forget him.
Good evening, all. Thanks for being here.
We're
on our final article for tonight. This is from the New York Post. New York City's congressional candidate Mike Itkis stars in porn to show sex-positive agenda. I'm sure that's exactly what that was all about, right?
Honestly, you cannot equate porn to positive. You just can't. You can't. There's nothing positive about porn, dude. It destroys people's lives. It destroys people who consume the porn. It destroys people who are in porn. It destroys people, you know?
Great.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It says, his campaign's off with a bang.
What a choice of words, man.
They had to film this in order to start his campaign.
Hey, man.
He could not begin his campaign until they filmed this commercial. No, just kidding. It says, a Manhattan congressional candidate has released an online porn video starring himself in a bid to, he must be very confident, if you know what I mean, to highlight his sex-positive political platform.
Do you have to be, do you have to be confident in order? I don't think so.
Yeah, you do. You have to be confident in order to get naked in front of a whole bunch of people and film yourself in a porn.
I'm speaking.
A lot of people are very body conscious, so they would not be confident.
No. What I'm saying by confident is you don't have to be.
Think,
I'm referring to the size.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah.
Speak.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Obviously, that's what I was referring to. And obviously. No, you just have to be confident. Anyways. No, but it was a joke. Yeah, I get it. I guess, no, you don't have to have a good 10-incher, in order to get naked in front of the world and make a campaign ad. But the innuendo was funny. Long odds. Nice
long odds. Bang,
nice.
Long, man. Nice
choice of words.
Yes.
I need to get a little buffer from a microphone. Anyways, third-party hopeful Mike Itkis, who's expected to lose. Oh, could I have figured to Democrat or Republican Jerry Nadler? Of course. Really? Hello. What's her name? That Maloney woman lost to Jerry Nadler. Do you think Mike Itkis was going to win? Really? What was her name? Carolyn Maloney or whatever. She was the other Skeksis. She was the other Skeksis Democrats that had been, and they redistricted, and they ended up in a competition against each other. Two ancient establishment Skeksis Democrat career politicians, old as the wind, except Nadler's like 5 foot and round as a ball. And
he waddles, right?
He's Waddles Nadler. That's my nickname for him. His nickname is Waddles Nadler. Okay, that's the way we refer to him at the C Report. Anyways, so
wait, hold on. Subpack was asking if this was a leader. No, he's running for office. He's running for Congress.
He's going up against Waddles Nadler.
You know what's interesting? This is okay. So you know what's interesting to me is that.
Oh my goodness! I think Slick Shoe said something about having a drink every time I laugh. Anyways,
you know what's interesting to me is that a lot of people who run for office, they don't want any of these kind of videos coming out of themselves, but yet you have this guy doing just the opposite. He's going for it.
There was a city councilman in New York that released a bondage video of him and a seductress or something like that. And I was like, oh, anyways. So I was like, they're not unfamiliar with this type of a scheme, It was a 13-minute sex tape. It was a minute for every inch. No, just kidding. Why 13 minutes, right? Anyways. Couldn't last that long, I guess. Anyways, where are we at? Long odds, third party hope. Well, we already read that. Jerry Nadler, okay, in New York's 12th district, posted the steamy 13-minute sex tape with adult movie star. Oh, he got a pro.
13 minutes.
Nicole Sage.
13 minutes.
That's why it was 13 minutes. Maybe he couldn't afford it. No, just kidding.
Oh, so he had to pay. He didn't get paid.
I'm sure he's working to be a prostitute, but he had to learn from a pro anyways. So anyhow, politicians usually want to cover up their sex tapes.
I was just saying that.
But it just said he put it out to prove he's truly excited about legalizing sex work. I mean, it was all the rage during the freaking, pandemic, apparently.
Well,
I missed out on that wave, apparently. Anyways, no, I am body conscious. Sorry. Anyways.
I mean, I honestly see this as the future for what a lot of females are going to do. I mean, they're already doing it right now with their OnlyFans account and
Females, think about all the
Instagrams.
gay boys out there. Think about all the young men out there
I
who are
don't-
now and
I
now
don't-
every
don't
now
think about that.
Now, well, that's not what I mean by that. But I don't mean like boys. I mean like think about all the gay young men out there, and now it's like everyone is bisexual, so everyone's going to be doing it, and everyone is like, well, you know what? If I can make money having sex on a camera and never go to work and get pleasure and all that stuff, and you know they're little degenerates, then you know.
Man, the things that people will do just for
I'm just saying.
the things that people would do.
That's what they would rather us do. They'd probably rather us be a third world country where we just sit in front of the TV screen and get a few pesos for, you know, pulling the pudge, you know.
Jeez.
Anyways, let's return to this article. It says, if I would just talk about it, it wouldn't demonstrate my commitment to the issue, he told City and State. And the fact I actually did it was a huge learning experience, and it actually influenced items on my platform. I'm sure it influenced more than that. He said he posted the video titled Bucket List Bonanza to a popular porn website as a conversation piece. Right? I guess they're going to critique him on his form.
I mean, it's only a front and back thrust. I mean, it's not, you know.
Oh, is it only that? I feel bad for your wife. Anyways, just kidding. You know, it's only a back and forth thrust. I feel bad for your wife. No, just kidding. Anyways.
What do you want me to do? Do flips?
Flips? Oh my god. This man. No, just kidding.
She's not bad. It's too bad she
no,
does porn.
oh, gross. She looks like she smells. Get it off the screen. Anyways, okay.
It's too
The
bad she does
footage-
porn. It's just too bad she does it, man.
That's sad, yes.
Yeah.
The footage of him making whoopee with Sage. He made whoopee with Sage, who bills herself as a slutty girl from New Mexico, was his first time having sex on camera, he said. I'm very much an introvert, he said. I'm kind of a nerd who doesn't like to be the center of attention if I can avoid it, but I thought the issues I'm trying to address are so important, I have to be Waddles Nadler. I wanted to have my issues talked about in some way.
Oh my goodness.
His campaign page states his background as not married, no kids, not celibate, atheist, and says he is dedicated to making sexual rights explicit by ending adultery laws and decriminalizing and legalizing sex work.
You know, that'll definitely change if he decides to get married and have children. That's going to change.
Maybe he's not married. I guess he would have said divorced, right? He also appeared to target child support payments, writing that men should not be required to support biological children without prior agreement. The Nadler campaign declined to comment to City and State on the sizzling sex tape, but Itkiss Republican opponent said he understood the urge to seek attention amid a hot political race. You gotta do what you gotta do, said Mike Zamblauskas.
Jeez, dude. Is this where we're at now in the world?
That's crazy. They're making sex tapes in order to run for office.
They're making whoopee.
They're making whoopee.
That's something old people would say, man. I'm not young, but you know.
It's funny. That is hilarious, sir.
Man, I'm just, you know, I'm surprised. Like, am I really surprised? Yeah. I mean, if I make a comparison as to how it was back in the 90s to like, I never thought that we'd be where we're at right now in this world.
Oh, yeah.
I would never did I ever think.
Even 5 years ago, dude, like even 5 years ago, I wouldn't imagine how.
You know, once.
Okay, maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't imagine we are where we are today.
Well, you know, once Barry got into office, man, a lot of things started changing, man. I'm not saying that he was the cause of things to change, but definitely things were gaining traction. that were coming out.
It's gotten pretty insane,
dude. It is crazy, dude. I don't know how else to say it. It's an upside down world. It's really upside down. Like things that were forbidden back in the 90s are now, I really don't want to say that it's normalized, because for a lot of us it's not normalized, but it's, you know, the younger children now kind of, it's like they're desensitized to it, which is really, really, really sad. I blame the internet, dude.
God bless the internet for free flow of information. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but look what it's done. I mean, you know, the parents can only regulate as much as they can. And when their children who are like young teenagers or preteen children are out with their friends, they really can't regulate certain things. And this is where
that is an unfortunate truth for controlling parents. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
I think the reason why we think different is because we didn't have access to the internet, and I don't know. You know, it was more, we had to search for certain things. We had to search for certain things. We had to put in work for it, right? To find certain things. But now, you know, these young children, and there's a lot of parents that give their children their own phones at a very young age, which I totally disagree with. You know, my daughter would be asking me, when am I going to get a phone? I'm like, when you're 18. You're not getting anything now. So I don't know. The parents are kind of at fault for this too. I also think that a lot of parents are so busy in life that they just don't give much attention to the children as well, which is why we're kind of at where we're at. You know?
Yeah,
I'm guilty of it too. You know, my first son, he was, you know, we were in the learning phase, and you know, he was raised in the age of the internet and iPhones and smartphones and computers. So, you know, I don't want to say that I failed. It was more like a learning experience. So now I know what to do with my daughter, so she doesn't turn out in a certain way.
Well, why would you say you failed?
No. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that I failed, but it was a learning experience because I didn't know what to do. You're not given a handbook on how to be a parent or whatever. It's things that you learn as you go through with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not saying I failed, but I wish I did a better job regulating that kind of stuff, because I didn't even know what kind of damage it could do to, man, my son, he's very passive. You know, I don't know, you know, there's a difference between my son and my daughter. Just the way the interaction between the two are just kind of different. My son's not liberal, but at the same time, he's not really aware of his surroundings sometimes, man. I kind of have to guide him into sometimes, and I'm like, dude, you're like, that was one of the biggest things that I pushed on you when you were young, is to be aware of your surroundings, man, because I came from that kind of job where you had to be. So I don't know. I feel sometimes that I have to step by step, you know. His generation, they need direction. They need step-by-step direction, is what I'm saying.
Well, you know, I mean, at least, never mind. I'm not even going to go there. Anyway.
You can tell me after the show.
Yeah, probably better just not say.
Jeez.
Oh, my goodness. Well, interesting, sir. And I don't know. I've never met your son, so I don't know.
Well, you know,
I'm sure he'll find his way and come around eventually.
I think so too.
They all eventually learn, especially where parents are concerned. You know, they all eventually learn, and it's about, you know, that you learn. You know, I mean, I got close to my parents at a very young age, and not that I viewed them as friends, you know, but I was very comfortable with them. So I wasn't like we had a healthy relationship. I found, you know, I thought, and I learned to look at them as humans in a sense that uh, and not that they were abusive, but like if there was anything that I might have thought like they would have wronged me or something, like to be able to forgive them and not begrudge them, because there are a lot of factors to consider in parenting. You know, I'm not a parent per se to say, well, not a parent at all, not per se, not to say at all.
Right.
I'm not a parent at all, so you know, I wouldn't say that like I could really speak about it, but like in my understanding of like what that could be like, you know, I would have to say like there are factors to consider, and it's different for every family. Like I think it would be a gross negligence to generalize families and the way families are with each other in their own unit. I think it would be gross to generalize that. I think every family unit is individual. While I think everyone can succumb to, you know, particular influences, look at, you know, we have a lot of, you know, zombies asleep or whatever, for example, but every family unit is different, and they're all, you know, entitled to their own set of different circumstances, you know. So with that said, though, you know, if you consider like the family in a generalized type of way in a certain time or society, like take the boomer generation and everything they went through, and depending on where they were in the on the tax brackets, you know, and what region they might have been in the country or in the world would determine, you know, kind of an outline of where they would be. But the destruction of the family unit has always been the intention of the powers that be, to be generic again. You know, it's something that we all know, obviously, but that's why we see the schools and the problems and the children, the transgenders and the influence and the drag queen kids shows and the CRT and the racism and all of this division and the wokeism and the Marxism. It's the blanketed Marxism, you know. That's why we see, and it's all about teaching division. It's all about teaching disharmony. So,
you know, I really wish that, you know, parents who are aware of what's going on, I really wish that they would have had this conversation with their child, even at a very young age, because I think, you know, even if you're like, let's say if your child's like second, third grade, yeah, they won't grasp it, but at least you're planting that little seed there for them to be aware of certain things. And man, I wish that they would. I wish parents could find a way to give them heads up about what they're about to experience as they grow up. You know, I've always done this. I've always done this with my children about the whole bullying thing, because whatever you do, that's always going to be there. You can do as much as you can to kind of prevent it, but kids are kids, man, and things are going to happen. So I always tell them, like, look, dude, like, not everybody is going to like who you are. Of course, you're going to have to avoid a fight at all costs. But when it comes down to where you have to fight, hey, go ahead and defend yourself. I'm all for that. Let me worry about if you get in trouble or not. But, yeah, you know,
and that's good. You know, I didn't even learn self-defense from my parents.
Oh, man, our family, it's mandatory. Our family, you know, my wife was in, she was in all Japan judo in Japan. Yeah, she was in all Japan. And that's a big deal for especially in judo. And then me, you know, I trained jiu-jitsu, judo, kickboxing. So yeah, this family, like, it's mandatory. My son, he's a black belt judo. My daughter is currently training judo. So yeah, in this family, nice. It's mandatory. But of course, I don't say like, oh yeah, go beat him up. No, that's purely last resort stuff, you know. And the thing, you know, the discipline with martial arts too is you train. You know, I'm gonna steal this line from Karate Kid, the movie, where Miyagi would ask, "Why do you train?" And then Daniel says, "I train so I don't have to fight. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna take that, because that's what we do. We train so we don't have to fight. But when we have to fight, we're prepared. So, anyhow, this was a very there's a lot of variety on the show today, man. It was fun though. It was very fun.
Yeah.
The articles were.
Brittany made an appearance.
Hey man, Brittany still look good, but it saddens me to see that she has to resort to, showing herself like that. It's she's a very attractive woman, but it's just too bad that she has to do that kind of stuff. But I kind of understand too that she came from the whole Disney thing and how brainwashed they become in that environment.
We don't know what she's doing. I mean, I don't know if she's really broken. I mean, I could only assume she is, honestly.
Man, she is, man.
I could only assume she is, honestly, but she could be testing her boundaries. There could be some kind of a con in there. She had released I think it was an Instagram set of pictures, and like some conspiracy theorist had wheedled it down to mean that she was sending a communication to the Catholic Church, to the CIA, and to someone else. Anyways, and I was like, this is interesting, but I never followed it, and I don't know. So, yeah, Brittany, there you go. Leave Brittany alone.
You follow her on Instagram, dude.
Whatever.
Anyhow, before I let you go, is there anything that you want to plug out there, or?
Oh, I'd like to thank you for another great evening, sir, and to everyone out there on their respective apps and platforms for tuning in tonight. I am Mr. C, and I host the C Report and Lone Star News, and See in the Dark over at Mr. C TV channel. You cannot find me on YouTube because I just had another channel nuked there the other week, so I have to quickly repair. And but you can find me on Twitch and on the Foxhole and on pill.net, as well as other platforms including Odyssey and Trovo and
still on Rumble
and Rumble. Yes, Rumble. So most definitely. And if you have a Roku, you can tune into my show on Rumble Live and on Odyssey Live. Also, Odyssey is on Roku as well. So if you have, and I actually recommend Odyssey. At this point, I don't know anything about the people behind Odyssey, but I do know it's the wild, wild west of video streaming at the moment. And it's, a lot of interesting stuff over there. So go find my channel and subscribe. Okay. And the creport.com for more information. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Speak. This is news number 38 in the books. It was fun. Thank you for hosting. And we'll do it again next week.
Absolutely, my fine friend. And God bless you and to the family as well, man.
Likewise. Have a great night and take care.
You too. See ya. There he goes. Let me exit out of here too. Let me bring everybody to the clouds as I get ready to close out the bar tonight. Like what he said, another great episode in the books. I appreciate each and every one of you who has taken the time to hang out with us tonight. I'm glad to have seen some people out on the YouTubes, people out on Twitch. Man, this is absolutely awesome. The great Lord is blessing me with people, different platforms now, and this is great. This is not just one platform now. Not to take away anything from home base, which is Foxhole and Pill.net. I want to thank all you guys there, all 15 of you guys who are hanging out over there. Thank you so much for always being there, guys. The bar will be open again tomorrow. Actually, no, it won't be open tomorrow. If it is open tomorrow, it's probably going to be a later time stream. So that's going to be, the time will be pending. It could be later at night. I don't know. We'll see. I have an important meet with Java, my brother out there. We're going to work on some music. So that's another thing that I'm working on right now too, on top of doing the show, being a full-time DJ. I'm also trying to do music production, and I'm very excited to be working with a fellow brother of mine, Java out in pill.net, who also has a show. He has his own podcast. You might want to give him a. It's called 4 minutes and 12 seconds, I believe. Or 4 minutes. I'm sorry, 4 minutes and 20 seconds, I believe. Not 4:12. It's 4:20. 4:20 is what it is. And you can find it, I believe it's on Podbean. Podbean. Yes. So if I do stream tomorrow, it'll be tentative. If you follow me on the social medias, out in Facebook, Instagram, CLOUTHUB, Twitter, Truth Social, I post the schedules there. So please give me a follow. I already dropped the links out on the the link tree. So give me a follow if you want to come back and check it out. I will be streaming tomorrow. If I do stream tomorrow, it'll be just music. I'll be doing a live mix. So if it's something that you just want to, give your brain a break or whatever, come over, I'll be DJing it up live on Twitch and on pilled.net or foxhole.app. And then the bar will be open again on Sunday, 10 p.m. Central for Go Back to Sleep, which is a show where Java and we kind of break down musical lyrics. We do a little digging on the actual artist who sings the certain song, and we do a little history on him and all that stuff. It's an interesting thing. We kind of look at music now as something that has been influencing everybody, not in a way where we think it has been. So we look at things in a perspective of what is the message of this? What is the actual message of the song? It's a breakdown of the song or the music video, because we do play that on the we do play the music videos as well. So yes, Java. It's 4 minutes and 20 seconds at the Podbean. Check them out. So anyhow, that's another episode down, and I want to thank again Mr. C for another great episode of This Is News. So as I close the bar, like I do every night, always be kind to one another, and if an opportunity ever presents itself to pick somebody up, I would please beg that you please pick somebody up who is in need of it. We all go through things in life, and we all come to a point where we need help. So when there's somebody who is in need of help, please pick them up, because you'll never know who they are. You'll never know when you're going to need the help. And don't do it out of being vain, but do it because it's the right thing to do. It's something that you would expect back when you're going to need the help. So, with all that being said,
the bar is now closed.
I can't help but wonder if I'm under a spell. It's more than a passing notion. I've never fallen with such devotion. I can't help but wonder if it's only a dream. Am I naive or can I believe that things are really as they seem? Can anyone explain how to understand what's true? I know I just can't take it. Whenever I'm with you, I can't help but wonder if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. Can anyone explain it? How to understand what's true? I know I just can't take it. Whenever I'm with you, if you wonder about me. 'Cause lately I can't help but wonder how wonderful this might be. 'Cause lately I can't help